Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Superpower Review. I'm your host, Kevin Videnia, and today I have yet another great episode for you. Today we're going to be talking about new versus old comics, but before we get into it and I bring on my guest, I just have a quick announcement to make about Superpower Review, and it's fantastic news, and that is that Superpower Review is going to be playing statewide in Rhode Island. I'm super excited about this. This is the 5th studio that's picked up Superpower Review, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Lucy Cabral for helping me sharing out Superpower Review. So much love to you, Lucy Cabral. So today we're going to be talking about new comics versus old comics, and to help me talk about this topic, I have brought on my guest, Austin Heck from Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Austin. How's it going?
Hey, good. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. As you all know, well, maybe you don't know, Austin is from the Comic Book Fiend Club, and I just got into the Comic Book Fiend Club, which I'm very happy about. So it's nice to have a Comic Book Fiend Club member on the show for the first time. Well, other besides Rob Holt. How you doing, friend?
We'll kind of include him into it, I guess. We'll claim him today.
Let's just do one more shout out. Rob Holt, thank you so much for getting the club to invite me into the club. So thank you so much. I probably wouldn't have gotten into the club if it wasn't for Rob Holt really cheering me on in the corner. So thank you, Rob Holt. So Austin, we are talking about old versus new comics. Here's some examples right here, just to take some out of my collection. Here's a brand new DC Rebirth Detective Comics, and from the late 1980s, a Batman comic. What are you siding more on with old and new comics, Austin?
Man, it's always a great subject that people bring up from time to time. Honestly, I'm with the old side. I love the Silver and the Bronze Age myself.
See, my next question to you was what your favorite age was, and definitely my favorite age is the Bronze Age. Love the Bronze Age, and up from there, Bronze to Copper is definitely one of my favorites. I don't have a lot of silver in my collection, and I don't have any gold in my collection, but. What are some of the pros and what are some of the cons for these guys? Because there's a huge war where people love their newer comics, and there's a lot of the audience who love their older comics. I love older comics a lot better. I have more appreciation for the art, to be quite honest, and And newer comics do have the better stories, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like the art kind of in the older stuff, especially when you see that what all went into it, the hand drawing that went on, that kind of stuff. A lot more these days seem to be computerized.
Exactly.
I love watching Todd McFarlane draw on Facebook, but it takes the Todd father.
Yes. Love those live Facebook videos. I love them.
Yeah. They're so good, and it's crazy how he has so much talent. He can do those, and those quick sketches in 5 minutes, and he does them on a computer and everything like that, which is cool to see. But I really like going conventions like you've been to, and seeing people doing the sketching where it's hand drawn. It just looks so much better, in my opinion.
It really does. It really does, and. Like you brought up, most of these comic books and the comic book art is done on a computer. Yes, it has more bells and whistles, but my eye really catches more to the traditional look of an older comic book. You can add a little more shine to things and a little more texture to things, but another way to kind of put it all together is like, you can have a 1969 Chevy Camaro and a 2017 Chevy Camaro. They're almost the same thing, but they have a complete different look. One looks brand new, and the other one just looks completely classic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So you have more older comics in your collection than newer?
I believe so. I mean, I read some current stuff. I read a lot of DC currently.
Yeah.
My collection kind of goes back towards Silver and Bronze Age, kind of Marvels, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to complete the whole run of Iron Man, which you can kind of see behind me there.
I see him. Yeah, I see him.
So definitely trying to work on that and things like that. But some of the newer ones, I mean, they've got good stories too, and I do go to my LCS pretty regularly to pick those up too.
Now, it's been a little while since I've gone to my local comic book shop to pick up a new comic. I do have to say I haven't gone to one for a while to pick up a newer comic. Right now, just because I think everything is mostly meh. But I do have to congratulate DC for doing a really good new comic these days. I absolutely really like the new DC Rebirth stuff. I think it's really good. So once in a while, I'll go and pick up a new comic. But when I'm at the comic book store, I know I'm definitely digging into those old comic books, all those later back issues. So what is one of your favorite oldies to pick up besides Iron Man? I know you just said you're on the hunt for Iron Man right now, but what else are you looking for right now?
I kind of dabble in like the key issues, of course, like everybody's always after. Looking for that Silver and Bronze Age key there for a good price to add to the collection. I currently am going after a lot of the what ifs. I really enjoy those that Marvel did back in the day there, and catching up with those. And I really like the stories that are in there. Of everybody always wondered what if happened if so and so had done this or that instead, and it went differently. So it's kind of cool to see those. One of the things that originally got me back into comic book collecting a few years ago was the Civil War storyline.
Yeah.
And I had unfortunately lost a lot of those in between moving from Illinois to Florida to Georgia and things like that. So I've been trying to reacquire a lot of those again and get that whole Civil War kind of run done.
Civil War is what brought you back to purchasing newer comics, and for me, what brought me back recently to buying newer comics was definitely DC Rebirth right now, and definitely the Venom story. But for me right now, the Venom story has really gone off the cliff, and I'm sorry. As soon as I don't know if have you read the new Venom comics?
Yeah, that's actually the only Marvel book on my pull right now, and I'm even starting to get there to where I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is going to keep getting pulled anymore.
So I'm just going to have to go ahead and say this: as soon as a comic book has dinosaurs in it or dinos, I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it.
It just doesn't go well.
I get made fun of already about from other people who don't understand comics. Like he's like a little kid collecting comics, and you know what? For me, as soon as the dinosaur is in the comic, I'll be like, you know what? I just have to lay off of this. I don't want to see. I don't want to see dinosaurs in my comic books. I don't know what it is. Like, you read it, be like, oh, this looks pretty good. Oh, dinosaur! Damn it, I don't want it.
You're like, they're right. Now these are for 7 or 8-year-olds.
Yeah, like all right, they're almost winning. Okay, all right, never mind. They're kind of right a little bit. Yeah, DC Rebirth is doing really good right now. I really enjoyed those stories, especially Detective Comics and Batman. I did dabble into other stuff like Nightwing. That panned out for me. I really think Red Hood's looking really good. And I also tried Action Comics and Superman, and those, again, didn't really do too much for me, where it made me want to go to my comic book store every week and spend at least $20 on all these titles. So I had to slim it down just a little bit, and I was like, I'm just going to go with what I really, really like, and that's Batman. If it's got Batman in it, it's for me. And so that's what I dipped into. What about for new and old comics? What do you say has the better stories? Let's get into storyline wise. Do you like the stories better in older comics, Austin, or do you like the stories in newer?
Man, it's a tough decision because it kind of goes with what you're kind of into, kind of thing again. Where I like the older stories in a lot of the comics because that's what we're starting to see during this golden cinema age of the superhero coming around. And I always tell people when they ask me, well, how do you know all this stuff? I'm like, it's in the comic book. It's been there for years.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's cool to see those stories because the stories are really, really good in the book. And then, of course, they pull that and they make it into the on-screen adaptation and things like that. DC right now, I really like the storytelling that's going on there. I mean, you mentioned Batman. That's been pretty good. It seems like whenever you think that there's a slow issue, it just picks right back up full steam again, including what recently happened there where everybody was buying up, I think it was number 24, right?
When he gets married?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's 24, yeah.
So even that just kind of came out of the blue where you're like, whoa, never thought I'd see that happen. And it kind of sucks you back in.
Well, not married. I have to correct myself. He didn't get married. He proposed to Catwoman.
True. We'll see if it actually happened, I guess.
I don't need all these like YouTubers commenting on it. He's like, no, he's wrong. He's wrong. He didn't get married. So correction, calm down, okay?
That's why I paused at the 24 part too, because I'm like, it all kind of blends together in one giant story arc. So which number was it?
I will admit that during Batman number 24, I did not purchase the book. I actually went to the comic book store and I read it really, really fast. And I said, okay, that's all I need to know. And I put it back on the shelf. Anybody looking? No. Okay. Oh, it looks pretty good. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a while since I picked up anything new. I'm gonna say for older comics again. I really enjoy older comics. As soon as you open up the bag, you get that woof of that old comic, old paper smell, and you're just like, okay, let's do this thing. So I have more enjoyment. I have more appreciation for it, and also I'm gonna say this real quick, and let me see what you think about it, Austin. I really feel like older comic stories are better because that's when the story was a little more fresh, and I'm going back to like more Silver Age into the Bronze Age. The character was still in a process of getting introduced. We're starting to see more of the origins of a character, and all along the company, I felt like had a better grasp of what direction to go in with the character, as opposed to now newer comics and their newer stories. They're really trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat, trying to figure out a story. And while these characters have been, on Earth here for 70 years plus, they're really kind of beating this character to death with story and like, okay, what can we do with Batman now? Well, we know he likes bats. Or, okay, what can we do with Spider-Man now? Well, we know he was bit by a spider. Okay, so you know what I mean? I'm just gonna. That's my opinion, roughly, about story-wise on a newer comic and an older comic. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it seems like these days that they are really trying to take spaghetti out of the pot and throw it on the wall and see what's going to stick.
Exactly, yes.
I think I was, kind of talking to you earlier about how some of the times it seems like they're going through and they're digging from past story things to kind of try new things again, like Jane Foster as Thor. That originally was a what if that was all the way back in the day. The new Frank Castle Punisher, putting him in the War Machine costume. In one of the what ifs, he appeared as Iron Man. So it's kind of funny how they it almost seems like they might kind of be writing themselves in a corner where they're going back and looking at these old stories like, well, you know what if we did take that and stick it in there and try to make that happen now? And if it doesn't work, we'll scrap it after 5, issues and get rid of it. And it gets pretty bad.
It does. Maybe, hey, Marvel, hint, hint, maybe you should bring back the What Ifs, because I really enjoyed a lot of those titles, actually. I have a comic coming in the mail that I'm waiting for, and that is What If the Symbiote Did Possess Spider-Man, and I can't wait to read that. But those were really cool. Those were definitely a good read. Like, what if the Hulk really did kill Wolverine, or what if the Wolverine did kill the Hulk? Those were really cool side stories, and you know what? I actually do wish they did bring those back, because they were kind of interesting. They were just a wild card of a comic.
True. And the stories were actually really good out of them, so I don't mind picking up a one-issue, one-shot of something that's decently readable, instead of you trying to lead me down this pathway of, is this going to turn out past 5 issues, or we're going to cancel it again?
Right. I remember my first What If issue, and that was what if the Punisher's family had not been killed. That was my first What If comic, and I'll never forget it because the title again was What If the Punisher's family had not been killed. But they still killed his family in the comic anyways. I'm like, well, what happened? This was a ripoff.
You told me he wasn't going to get his family killed.
Yeah, right. I guess as they were writing that story, they're like, well, you know what? The Punisher can't be the Punisher unless his family's killed. Kill him.
True.
So I really think that would probably be something that would be good about if Marvel did bring back one of those titles, because they were enjoyable. Now we're down to 10 minutes. Okay, we still have plenty of time to talk about this. What about if you think about it, marketing during the old comics and the newer comics? Like we are beaten to death today by variant covers, and that, I don't know if you're huge into variant covers. I am really not, unless the cover is really cool. But if I have an option of the regular comic for $3 and the variant cover, which is $10 up to $15, maybe even sometimes $20 or more, what are your thoughts about variant covers?
I'm not into them a whole lot. However, if there is a certain artist, or like you said, it looks kind of cool to me, I will go ahead and pick it up. Last year, I know that they did the Todd McFarlane Venom variant, and I had to have that one. And I was cool with paying a little bit more to get that one because it's the Todd father, and I needed to have that.
Everybody's love for Todd father.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. But then there's some, that you pick up, and it comes to a thing again. Are you trying to just make sales happen? We have 10 variants for number one that came out. Like, for an example, the latest Ghost Rider that came out, you bring out like 10 different variants for it. The art on the cover was really good by each artist, but then when you got inside, the story was just god awful.
Yeah, right. You brought up Ghost Rider, but I was actually kind of excited for Venomverse, and I went to go pick those up, and obviously the variant covers were cooler than the normal one, and they weren't any more expensive than the regular one, so I said, oh, well, why not? So I did the same thing that I did with Batman number 24. I was like, you know what, let me just go through this real quick instead of buying it right away. And I did, and you know what, the variant cover really makes you sucked in and be like, oh, I have to have that. And then you go home and you go read it, and the inside artwork is crap, the story is crap, and then all it becomes is just a really cool cover. And you know what? I don't have enough room just to keep comic books with cool covers. Okay? I want to keep a comic with a cool cover, with cool art inside, and a cool story.
True.
So I just really think the whole variant thing is getting obnoxious. Okay, did we have variant covers back in the day with with older comics? No, because you know what? We just straight up had a cool cover to begin with. We had a cool cover to begin with, we already were familiar with the artists. It's just a huge cash grab these days with hey, Todd McFarlane did this variant cover, or Rob Liefeld did this variant cover. Go buy it. Go ham with kids. Go get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's like, sometimes you do, become a fan of an artist, and maybe that's why you want it and things like that. And I see a lot of people doing that, and that's cool. To each their own. Hey, a collection's a collection, but like you kind of said, I want that older book in my hand with the good story, with the good art, the Jack Kirby stuff, the Ditko, that kind of thing going on.
Yes, give me that. Give me that. And when the story per se of certain chapters of the hero's story were good and fresh, and you really ate it up, and it was like, wow, that was really good. I can't wait for next week. You know what I mean? And so I don't have any new comic book titles these days that makes me want to go, oh, I can't wait for next week. I did feel that way for a while about Venom, and then I was just like, again, dinosaurs. No, I'm not doing it with dinosaurs.
Why'd you have to go there?
Yeah, why did you have to bring dinosaurs in it? This is Venom. This isn't Jurassic Park meets Venom, even though that's what it really is. So I know you said Civil War was one of the newer comics that you said that brought you back. What other newer comics that do you... Because in this episode, I don't want to completely crap all over new comics, okay? They are good, okay? There are some... I just have more enjoyment with older comics, but what other newer comic that came out, let's say, from now to 5 years ago, do you actually like?
Dude, it's really hard to come up with one sometimes like that.
Yeah.
The New 52 Batman with Snyder and Capullo, that was really good.
Those were really good, agreed.
And, it was a good, refreshing take on the character of Batman. I know they even created some villains to go along in that and everything of that nature, too, which was pretty nice, and give it a new spin, the Court of Owls, and all that kind of stuff that went through it that we kind of saw played out on Gotham last year. So it's kind of cool that even some of those stories now are kind of impacting the TV and movies and things like that.
Right. Another thing that I just thought of too, what's also better about older comics is, we get the direct edition little logo too, with the that's like a little extra artwork right there. So even I even have to say, even the layout cover is all along even better than a newer comic. I know I'm gonna get so much hate for this video about talking crap about newer comics. I'm really gonna hear for this one.
It's all good. I think like I said, to each their own. Everybody kind of collects what they want to collect, and it's just our kind of point of view thing, but. I think we'll have some people kind of cheering us on a little bit more.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope the people who do collect older or go toward more older comics can kind of agree with this episode too. Remember, I don't completely hate newer comics, okay? They are good, but I would rather spend my money and my time with the older stuff.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up for today's show. We are out of time, my friend. Austin, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's something I've been looking forward to doing here. So thanks for that, and congratulations again on getting in the whole state of Rhode Island. That's pretty awesome, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is really big news. It's just got to get bigger. It's got to get bigger. We're going to get bigger. We're going to get there. First, I got to start off with more subscribers. That would be nice. More subscribers would be nice. Austin, thank you so much for being on. I would love to have you back on for another episode at some time. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you again.
Awesome.
If you guys would like to be a guest like my friend Austin Heck was today, you can always email the show at superpowerreview9@gmail.com. If you liked this episode, please give it a like. If you want to see more of this channel, you can always subscribe and get notifications about when a new video is going to be up. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon.